Hey guys, it's Chris here with Off-Road Farm. And today we're going to put the carrier back in the Dana 60 so we can get ready to rebuild it. I've got both of my bearing caps cleaned up. Make sure you match up the markings for what side they go on. Now I'm just going to go grab the carrier, find the races for it. I'm going to try to put it in. Alright, so I went and I got my carrier. I had already oiled my bearings, but it's been a couple days. So I went ahead and I put a little bit more oil in there. Got my bearing races. Now we're just going to try to get it in there. Now I do not have a case spreader, so this thing, we're going to have to knock it in. We're going to want to use a dead blow or a mallet. Make sure we're not using a hard-faced hammer on this. And what you might also want to do is, if you've been, especially on like this dead blow here, I have been using it around some welding projects and I had a little bit of weld splatter in the face. Might want to pick that out just in case. Let's try to set it in there. Alright, so after a lot of beating, I finally got the carrier in there. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. Whenever you're putting it in there, you got to get it pretty close to even to top and bottom. If you get it offset just a little bit, once you start hitting that preload area, it's going to be real hard to knock it down or up to get it back centered. Because if your race catches on one of these corners, it's going to be real hard to move it. So try to get it fairly straight, and then once you get it closed, you can use your bearing caps to pull it the rest of the way in. I know a lot of people say you can't, but you can. But you got to be careful about how you do it. The temptation is to put your bearing cap on and just snug them down real tight. No. You want to put both of them on, get it started until they catch, and then snug these down till they're just hitting the cap, all four of them. And then you want to do a little bit at a time, preferably in a crisscross pattern, right? And that'll pull that down real slow and easy and evenly. That's the key. If we just pull one side down all the way tight and then try to go to the other side, it could bind up. So if you do use these bearing caps to pull it down, and it's got to be pretty close. You can't just set it in there and then put these bearing caps on. Once you get it pretty close, if you want to try to pull it the rest of the way down, you can use these bearing caps. Just take it slow, take it easy, just a little bit on one nut or one bolt, and then go to the other one and then crisscross it real slow. All right, so now we're going to torque these down and we're going to check our backlash. All right, the final torque value is 80 foot-pounds. We're going to start a little bit lower than that. First, we're going to torque to 50. And then after we're done at 50, then we'll go up to 80.
Okay, I've now reset my torque wrench to 80 foot-pounds, and we're going to go back through and we're going to re-torque these.
So we've set up our dial indicator and we've checked it in 3 or 4 places. I'm going to try to zoom in here on the face of the dial so you can see exactly what we're looking at. Alright, so we've got it mounted here to the face of the differential housing. We've got our dial set roughly to 0 and it's right against the tooth, and we've taken all the play out of it. And now whenever we do our backlash, you can see there it went from 0 to right around 9.5 thousandths. So every place that I checked was right around 9 to 10 thousandths, and that's within our spec. Our spec is 6 to 10. I measured this before I took it apart. I think it was right around 8 to 9. So I reused all the same shims as far as in the actual carrier for the preload, and the pinion depth shims I used were the same too. So since I used all the same shims, my backlash is within spec. I'm not even going to worry with doing gear marking compound. I'm just going to run it like it is. So we're done with getting the pinion and the carrier back inside. So I'm just going to throw on the differential cover just to keep some dust out of it, and we're ready to start putting this axle back together.
Thanks everybody for watching. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button.